John pulled the short straw. We all watched with icy breath as he let out a resigned groan and slumped back against the ship's railing. "I'm sorry," Baker said. "Just get it over with." The watching crows fled from their perch atop the mast when an explosion erupted over the silence of the water. They'd be back though, after all, they were hungry too. My nostrils were singed with the stench of gunpowder and blood. Neither I nor Baker spoke a word, he just kept holding his flintlock in a shaking hand, the barrel still steaming black smoke. I signed my chest with a crucifix and muttered my prayers. Bitter waves beat against the side of the ship, rocking us back and forth, steering us towards some uncontrollable destination. I know not where the ocean's path intended to take us, but it was a slim hope that there would be anyone left alive to see the current's end. "It's okay, Baker," I said through a strained voice. The act of speaking had become an agonizing test of endurance. Every word pulled and ripped at the sore flesh of my throat. He knew the stakes. He agreed to it. Empty words for empty men. How many times had this happened? How many times have our numbers dwindled one by one? Now there were only two. As of late, I'd often pondered what we'd done to so anger God. What could any man do to deserve such a slow, cold fate? I asked it every time I pulled the corpses below deck, where the maggots reveled and the rats festered. The dead men sometimes looked at me with smiles or horrified expressions of fear and anguish. At times, even their mouths moved, but no words ever escaped. Eyes bored deep into dead skulls, so dull and glossy, but so full of damnation and accusation. I wondered what John's face would do when it joined the rest of their lot. There would be time for the rambling and philosophy of dying men later. Right then, my stomach screamed and howled. Pain stabs of hunger reaped destruction on my insides. Baker and I moved in with one mind and began the unholy atrocity of defiling the dead. The cold flesh fought the sharpness of our steel, but the knives eventually cut. From the dead, life was found, if only for a little while longer. Baker couldn't take it anymore. Maybe it was the smell, or maybe it was the thought of what we were doing. He vomited up what little bit lingered in his stomach. He wasted no time shoveling it back into his mouth. With monstrous hands and sharp fingernails, I ripped and tore and ate. With each piece of flesh and smear of red, something inside me died. My soul had long since shattered into a million shards, but even now an overpowering ache resonated from the pit where my heart had once been. Frozen tears stuck to Baker's pale cheeks as he filled his mouth with crimson. I had to turn away. I couldn't look. I also couldn't stop myself. I just couldn't. God forgive me, I'm just so hungry. This excerpt was translated from a journal belonging to a deckhand aboard a schooner, believed to be lost in the year 1775. Bones belonging to the crew were found below deck, corresponding with the claims made in the journal. The fate of the writer and the man named Baker are unknown.